how can you make clients overcome the fear that they'll say the one thing that will make them get kicked out? How do you personally help
that? So I have a lot of techniques around this, and for me, it starts with the consultation and building that trust instantly from the get-go. And then also building up my intuition around recognizing when somebody has something to say that they're not actually sharing, and acknowledging that in the moment, or creating space for that at the end of my session. It's something that happens all the time, and it's something that we have to address like as quickly as possible, because the further they are from that, the less like in touch they are with those feelings. So I am a big advocate for addressing it instantly.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah. For me, this is all about, safety. Safety is the prerequisite. And so, at Cuddleist, I tell the trainees, all the time, I'm a broken record, that the client can only feel as safe as you feel. So that's your first job, right, is to know what helps you feel safe. And this has to do with validating your needs and your boundaries and paying attention and being aware and, figuring that out, because I can't tell them what's going to make them feel safe, right? So that's their first job, and it really is with that screening and that orientation process. How are you presenting yourself? How are you reaching out to the client? How are you responding to the client? How are you validating them? And then what is that dialogue? And so ideally, every step of that way, the client is getting that transmission that this is a safe space. This is a place where I want to see you and hear you and meet you exactly where you're at. And there's this little irony. I was screening a new client this morning, and we had a dialogue, and I thought I would share, the culmination. Well, this started, we had a little back and forth, and everything was great. And I said, that's fine, let's go ahead and schedule. And he said, one last question, it's a bit intimate. May I tell you, I hope you don't mind me asking. So there's that, that's what, when we create safety, that part can show up. It's always an invitation for that part to show up. And my response is, this is the time to not hold anything back. Put everything on the table that you're wondering about, like just that encouragement. This is safe. Tell me what you would like to ask me. And, he revealed fears and concerns about pre-ejaculation and, dealing with that in a session and how that would be perceived. And, I just addressed it so honestly and so openly, and gave practical suggestions for it and really affirmed him in it. And I got this beautiful response that says, "Oh, this made my day. For someone to take private and embarrassing information and return it with so much compassion. I appreciate you." This is what we get to do every day. Like, what's more rewarding than that? To feel that. So love begets love. It's just, so anyway, and we haven't even met, but this is the kind of that beautiful interaction. So thank you for the question, Bruce. And it's really, even the phrasing of it, the one thing that's going to get me kicked out. I feel like in myself, wow, this is the world we live in. How many of us have had that experience of saying the one thing, even as a kid, that something came out of my mouth where it was an authentic, genuine moment, and someone was like, "How dare you say that? How, how dare you be you?" And so this is, again, it's understandable because we're swimming in those waters, right? We all kind of have that around us, and people don't mean it. It's not intentional, but that is part of our vision, is to shift that paradigm, right? Respect, consideration, self-expression. We get to be who we are and meet other people who they are with respect.
This is what my hope is for CuddleXpo, is that we can all be together and talk about this stuff. I'm feeling right here in my chest some tightness around this question, because I hear those clients, right, on a regular basis, and they're really scared. And so one of the things that I made a video about was, I want all my clients, ask me for whatever you want. Even the things on the code of conduct that are like, you do not do these things, ask me them. Like, ask me anything. So that I want to make it a really safe space, a brave space for them to ask anything, knowing that they can trust me, that I'm going to say no, and can we find something else? Or, can we talk about that? Or can I find out more about what that request is about? So instead of having, like, you can only ask these questions, how about you can ask any questions, and guess what? We are trained, or we understand, like, we can handle any question and any request, even if it's, can I take my shirt off? Right. And even though it's in the code of conduct, there's a lot. My fear is that there's code of conduct shaming. Like, did you read the code of conduct? Well, don't you know? And that shit is like, they're like, oh shit, I forgot. Like, I mean, all of our childhood shame issues has come up. So I'm like, forget the code of conduct. I'm assuming that, like, you know, you may forget. That's cool. Like, I forget too. Just ask me anything. Anything's okay. And I think that's the conversation I want all of us to be able to have with anyone. It's on us to say, you know, yeah, how we feel about that. No.
That takes so much work on the practitioner's part to be comfortable, right? Madelon, the thing that you said about we can't help clients feel safe unless we feel safe ourselves. And I know for me, in the years that I've been doing this, it was one of my hurdles was to not get triggered by the needs of my clients that I wasn't able to hold, that I wasn't interested. I'm still not interested in holding, but I'm not triggered by it anymore. I can see it and say, wonderful. I want you to have this. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a burning share around this. This is both of what you've said is so important. This, you know, part of the Cuddlers protocol is that opening trust agreement. We rely on each other. I promise you that if I am not comfortable with anything, I will let you know. And our job is to do that in the kindest, most respectful, you know, open-hearted, loving, effective, clear way, to be trustworthy. And then the next part is to coach our clients and asking for what they want. Because a lot of my clients will say to me, well, how should we cuddle? What's the best way to cuddle? How do other people cuddle? And I say to them, I don't care, really. You know, I want to know how you want to cuddle. I want to know what's in your heart. And I promise you, if you can ask for anything, because if I'm not okay with it, I'll let you know. I'm only going to do the things that I'm genuinely happy to do. That's a lot of the reason we're afraid that we don't ask for things, is the other person will be offended, or they'll do it, or they'll go along with it and not really want it. But that's that place of honesty and trust where we say, we're not going to play that game here. And when clients ask for anything, the first thing out of my mouth is always, thank you for asking. I'm so glad you asked, no matter what it is. And then I'll be honest with them about it.